Addod Solutions. Add-on desired.
Hello viewers, welcome to Addod Solutions Daily Current Affairs. I'm Lokesh Penugonda. This session is designed for aspirants preparing for banking, groups and such other competitive examinations. We cover news articles from both the Hindu and the Indian Express. Make use of this session. Due to a combination of technical difficulties and government restrictions, the last few days current affairs videos could not be uploaded. Sorry for any inconvenience caused. First, we have an article where the Supreme Court is questioning the vaccination policy of the Union government. The Union government has stated that it will provide vaccines required for people who are above 45 years and who are below 18 years. And it asked the states and union territories to pay for a portion of the vaccines that would be required for vaccinating the people belonging to the 18 to 44 year group. So, if you are a person more than 45 year age, then the central government will pay for your vaccines. But if you are a person between the age group of 18 to 44, the central government will pay only a portion of these vaccines. So, this move is opposed by the state governments because the state governments feel that if we have to pay for some of the vaccines required for 18 to 44 year age group, it would be a burden on our finances. And it also stated that if we have to pay these vaccines, would be having to pay additional burden as well, because the states and union territories have told that they have to purchase the vaccines at a higher cost. That is, let's see, when the union government wants to buy the Covaxin or the Covishield, which are COVID-19 vaccines, the union government have to pay nearly 150 rupees. But if the states or union governments want to purchase these vaccines, they have to pay nearly 300 to 600 rupees for the same vaccines. So it is nearly twice or in some cases thrice the amount which is being paid by the union government. And some people have went to the Supreme Court regarding this vaccination policy. And the Supreme Court has questioned the union government why you are able to get vaccines at a lower cost and why the states have to purchase these vaccines at a higher cost. Then the union government has stated that as we are purchasing bulk vaccines at a time from the vaccine makers or the vaccine manufacturers, we are able to get huge discounts. Then the Supreme Court has stated that if you are able to get huge discounts from the vaccine makers just because you are able to get vaccines at a bulk amount, then why don't you purchase entire 100% of the vaccines and give it to the states and to the people? This is how the Supreme Court has questioned the union government's vaccination policy. And also the Supreme Court has asked the union government to submit a detailed report regarding the amount it has already spent and regarding the amount it is planning to spend regarding the purchase of the vaccines, because in the 2021 budget the union government has set aside 35,000 crores for purchasing the vaccines. And now the Supreme Court is asking the union government, tell us or provide us the reports on the usage of this 35,000 crores to buy the vaccines. This is what is happening with the Supreme Court and the union government. Next, we have an article dealing with the Rohtang Pass. You can see in this image how several oil tankers are crossing the snow-covered Rohtang Pass, which is in the Himachal Pradesh. So we'll see what is this Rohtang Pass. Pass or the mountain pass is a navigable road. It is a navigable way or a road that will be able to help people cross from one place to other place. In the image you can see several mountains and you can see some passes over here. So these are the navigable routes which can be used by the people from going from one place to the other place. So this article is talking about the Rohtang Pass. So what does this Rohtang Pass do? It is a navigable road that will connect the Manali with Lahaul district of Himachal Pradesh. So Manali, which is a place in Himachal Pradesh, would be connected with the Lahore district of the Himachal Pradesh through the Rohtang Pass. Next, we have an article dealing with the vaccination gap. Earlier this week, the World Health Organization Director General Mr. Tedros has stated that if you go on this way, we will be having a vaccination apartheid. Vaccination apartheid. So, why did he use this word called as the vaccination apartheid? He has stated that only 2.1% of the Africans, that is only 2.1% of the people who are living in Africa, have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. You can understand that this is a very small number. When we compare it to the Western countries, we have countries such as the United States, United Kingdom, Germany, which has vaccinated more than 20% of the people, and you have the United States where it has vaccinated nearly 41% of the population, of its population. So we can understand that the Western countries are a way forward and are ahead of African nations and other Middle Eastern countries when it comes to the vaccinations. So the World Health Organization Director General has stated that if this way or if this vaccination trend continues, then we'll have the vaccination apartheid. It means that the gap between the Western countries and the African countries with regard to the vaccinating its people will go on increasing. As this World Health Organization Director is using the word vaccination apartheid, we'll also see what does apartheid mean. Apartheid is a systematic or a system of institutionalized racial segregation in countries such as the South Africa and the Southwest Africa. Till 1990s, we have seen the institutionalized racial segregation. It means the governments of these countries have brought rules which segregated, which discriminated, which looked upon the blacks, that is the Africans or the natives. So the government themselves are bringing in rules that are discriminating a section of the people who are living in the country, and this continued till the 1990s. This is the process, or this is the word which is describing the apartheid, whereas the vaccination apartheid is a word which is being used to describe the vaccination gap between the African countries and other countries which are developed. Next, we have an article dealing with Mr. Mehul Choksi. Mr. Mehul Choksi, who is a jeweler, has defrauded the Punjab National Bank nearly 13,500 crores. So he's a wanted man by the law enforcement agencies. To prevent getting arrested, he has fled to a country called as Antigua and Barbuda, and he has obtained citizenship in this Caribbean island country. And when the Indian government has asked the Interpol to issue a international red corner notice against him, the Interpol did this. And when the Antigua and Barbuda country has received this request, it has tried to locate Mr. Mehul Choksi, and it is able to find Mr. Mehul Choksi. And when Mr. Mehul Choksi is being arrested by the Antigua and Barbuda government or its officials, he has fled to a nearby country called as the Dominican Republic, and now he is currently living in this country, and the Indian government is trying to extradite Mr. Mehul Choksi from this country. As we have these countries in the news, we'll see the capitals of these countries. St. John's is the capital of Antigua and Barbuda, whereas Rosso is the capital of Dominican Republic. And you should also note that both these are island countries in the Caribbean part. Next, we have an article where the cabinet has approved the Model Tenancy Act to be sent to the states and the union territories. We know that the land is a state subject. It is a state subject. What do you mean by a state subject? Schedule 7 of the Constitution has divided the subjects into 3 lists. One is the union list, one is the state list, one is the concurrent list. So, whatever subjects, whatever matters which are included in the union list, only the union government and only the parliament will be able to try to bring laws and bring rules regarding this. So, for example, if we have the armed forces, only the parliament can make laws on the armed forces, whereas if we take the example of the police, only the state governments can make laws on its respective state police officials or the respective state police departments. So, if a subject is kept under the union list, the union government or the parliament will be able to make rules and will be able to enforce them. Similarly, if you have a subject which is kept under the state list, only the state legislature can make laws on this subject. But if you have a subject which is kept in the concurrent list, then both the union legislature and the state legislature can make laws on this subject. And we have already seen how land comes under the state list subject. So, only the state or the union territories with legislative assemblies can make laws on the land. So, union government could not make any law on this subject. So, what it does is, it will bring in a Moral Tenancy Act, which is an example or which is a proposal which it is sending to the states and the union territories. So, it is a proposal being sent to the states and union territories asking them to adapt this. So, the union government has brought this Moral Tenancy Act and it is sending it to various states and union territories, requesting these states and union territories to change its laws according to the Moral Tenancy Act. So, this is what the article is talking about. Next, we have an article where Mr. Arun Kumar Mishra is appointed as a chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission. National Human Rights Commission is a body which is set up in the year 1993 to protect the rights of humans in the country. And the chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission can be a retired, he can be a retired judge, or he can be a retired Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. So, only judges and chief justices who are retired from the Supreme Court can be appointed as a chairperson of this National Human Rights Commission. And as there is a vacancy for the chairmanship position of the National Human Rights Commission, the committee, that is the expert committee, has met and it has proposed Mr. Arun Kumar Mishra's name to be forwarded, and he has been accepted by the union government to be appointed as the next chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission. And this proposal and this appointment is criticized by various legal experts and by various activists as well. So, why are they opposing his name? Mr. Arun Kumar Mishra, in the last year's meeting, in a meeting which was conducted last year, he has openly praised Mr. Modi, who is the Prime Minister of India. So, he was criticized by the legal experts and the judicial members for openly praising a political member or a political leader. And now the activists are stating that as he is a pro-BJP member, as he is a supporter of Mr. Modi, he will be only taking decisions and he will be giving verdicts which will be favorable to the government. So that is why his appointment is being criticized by several experts and several activists. Next, we have an article where the World Health Organization has stated that only Delta is a variant of the concern. So, earlier, when the COVID-19 has emerged, several countries have tried to provide vaccinations to this virus, and later several mutations of this disease several mutation of this virus has been found out. So what do you mean by mutation? COVID-19, as we all know, is a virus. When the virus undergoes a genetical change, when its DNA undergoes a change, then it is called as a mutation. And we have seen several mutations of the COVID-19 virus. We have seen a virus which is being termed, we have seen a mutation which is being termed as the Brazil variant, we have seen the UK variant, and we have also seen the Indian variant, which is being termed as B.1.617. So this is a COVID-19 variant which is found out first in India, and later the World Health Organization has used the word Delta variant, because if you start using the word called Indian COVID-19 variant or Indian variant, then it will stigmatize Indians and it would also bring bad name to the country of India. So the World Health Organization started giving official names rather than naming the country of its origin. And the World Health Organization, in the weekly update called as the epidemiological update. So in the epidemiological update, which is a weekly update by the World Health Organization, it has stated that only one variant, which is being termed as Delta, is a variant of the concern. Next, we have an article dealing with the Tulsa race massacre. So this is a massacre which took place nearly 100 years earlier. So it is a massacre which took place in Tulsa. So what is a Tulsa? Tulsa is a city in the United States of America, and it had a huge proportion of people who are of black. So it has a huge population of African origin people who are living in this city, and they are relatively well off compared to the Americans or compared to the white people living in this area. So they have more wealth compared to the people who are natives to the city of Tulsa, and for this reason they were hated. And later in the 1921 year, many people of African origin are massacred and killed. This is called as Tulsa race massacre. So if you have a question which is asking where the Tulsa race massacre happened or where it took place, you should answer it as the United States of America. Next, we have an article where the company Huawei has unveiled a new operating system. So we have seen how Huawei has gained a significant proportion of sales in the Android mobiles. So it has able to gain a significant share in the sale of Android mobiles or the smartphones, and later the United States government has put many sanctions on the company Huawei. Why? The United States government officials have stated that Huawei company is providing data of the users to the country China, because Huawei is a local company of the China, and it is believed that the officials of Huawei company are providing data of users of the Huawei mobiles to the China. So it has brought several restrictions on this company, and later it has prevented the Google, which is the owner of Android OS, to use this Android OS by the Huawei company. So from then on, Huawei cannot utilize the Android operating system for its smartphones. So to overcome these restrictions, the company Huawei has brought a new operating system which is called as the Harmony OS system. So we have the iPhones which are being operated by one OS system. We have the smartphones which are generally operated by the Android OS, and we have also the Microsoft OS or the Microsoft operating systems. And now we got one more operating system which is the Harmony OS or the Harmony operating system. Next, we have an article where the Palestinian foreign minister have criticized the Indian government for abstaining the vote in the UN Human Rights Council. So we had the UN Human Rights Council meeting last week, and there was a resolution taken up in this meeting. The resolution was to set up a investigation council, or to set up a inquiry to investigate the violence that took place in Gaza. So earlier this month, we have seen how the Israeli forces have used excessive forces and have bombed several buildings in the Gaza, which is a territory of Palestine, and this bombing has led to the death of nearly 100 persons, and it has also led to destruction of many buildings and many infrastructure in the Palestinian territories. So several countries have signed up for bringing in a resolution to set up an inquiry committee to investigate the violence that took place in Gaza. And when this resolution has come up in the UN Human Rights Council, the Indian government officials has abstained. That means they did not provide their support, or they did not oppose this resolution, and the Palestinian foreign minister have criticized the Indian government, stating that by abstaining the resolution vote, you are stifling the fight for the rights of the Palestinian people. So this is what happened at the UN Human Rights Council. Next, we have an article where the Archaeological Survey of India has found out new Buddhist cave complexes. Earlier, that is nearly two centuries before, British officials has found out Rashmi Buddhist caves. Rashmi Buddhist caves. So these are the caves which are used by the Buddhist monks to stay and to pray. And these Buddhist caves are discovered by the British officials 2 centuries before at Nashik, which is in the state of Maharashtra. And now the Archaeological Survey of Indian officials have found new Buddhist caves near the Rashmi Buddhist caves. And it is also stated that the newly discovered caves might be older compared to the Rashmi Buddhist caves, which are in the Nashik district of the Maharashtra. So you can see the caves which are newly found out near the Nashik in the Maharashtra. Next, we have an article which is dealing about the restrictions the government has brought on the government servants after and before the retirement. This month, the government has brought in new restrictions that will be applicable to those officials that has worked in second schedule of the RTI Act. So we have several organizations that have been kept under the second schedule of the RTI Act, and these organizations will not be providing information that is requested by the RTI Act. So these are organizations such as the Research and Analysis Wing, Intelligence Bureau, and other intelligence organizations. And now the government has brought in a restriction, or has brought in several rules which are stated that once officials or the officers of the intelligence agencies retire, they would not, or they should not, provide any detail regarding their organizational matters. So let's assume that Mr. A has worked in the Intelligence Bureau from 2010 to 2015, and in the year 2015 he might be retired from this organization. And government is stating now that once you retire from an organization, you cannot provide any details of this organization or other matters related to the organization without the consent of the government. And if you provide the details without the government consent, you would not be given pension. So you would not be given pension and other benefits if you are providing details to the people without taking any approval from the government. So this is a new restriction which is brought on the intelligence officials. So you should note that organizations which are not kept in the second schedule of the RTI Act would not be placed with these restrictions. So a IAS officer or an IPS officer after retirement can provide details, but an intelligence officer cannot provide such details without the government permission. Next, we have an article where the IT minister or the information technology minister has brought in a paper or the policy paper regarding the circular ecosystem or the circular economy. So what do you mean by circular economy, and why is the information technology minister recommending the circular economy usage compared to the present linear system? So we'll see what is the linear system and we'll see the circular economy. In the linear system, if you want to produce a, let's say, mobile or a laptop, you will first mine or extract the materials required. So to bring or to manufacture a mobile, you will first mine the required elements, and later you will use these elements to manufacture, and later you will throw away this equipment or throw away this mobile after the completion of its service period. So let's say you purchased a mobile and after 5 years you will throw it away, and the raw materials which are provided, which are present in the mobile, would not be used in the linear system. But if you are utilizing the circular economy system, after a mobile, after a electronic machine period is over, then the raw materials from this electronic machine would still be used for manufacturing other equipment. So earlier you would use raw materials only once, but now you will be able to use the same raw materials for manufacturing other electronic equipment as well. So this will provide sustainability. This will provide sustainability because now you would not have to mine more raw materials from the earth. So the information technology minister has brought in a paper regarding the circular economy system. And with this, we have come to the end of this session. Inform about Addod's initiative to your other aspirant friends. Thank you.
Addod Solutions. Add-on desired.